Sturgis, tell her.
There's a crashed vertibird up on the roof. Old school, pre-war. You might have seen it.
So good morning, Internet, and welcome to my Day 1 review of Fallout 4. And I know what you're saying, today is not Day 1, and you're right. However, these are still my first impressions of the game. The reason it's not Day 1 is because I needed to take an extra day to fully get my thoughts in line. My Fallout 4 experience began months ago, where as soon as I could, I pre-ordered a copy from Gamestop, paid in full as I always do. Monday, November 9th rolled around, and I was extremely excited to go to the midnight launch and pick up my copy so I could jump right in. I had to work the next day, so I wanted to get some time in prior to that so I could start working on this piece. I show up to my local GameStop around 11:30 p.m., which is a little later than I normally would arrive for a midnight launch, but hey, I had things to do. But anyway, I park, I start walking to the door, and I see a large crowd, both inside and outside, which of course is expected. But there's nobody in an actual line. So I walk up to the counter, and I stand there. First in line, I thought. Wrong. I was told that we're not allowed to line up yet. I asked them what the plan is then, and they said that there is no line, and it's going to form when they tell us to form it at midnight, and that people are going to line up based on how long they've been there. I asked how they plan to enforce that, and would it not have been a better idea to actually allow a line, and so that way people that arrived first would already be in the front of the line? But I was told, nope, and that's how it's done because that's how the manager wants it. So I just said F it, and I left. I didn't have time to deal with that. So the next day I go to work, and I won't be able to get the game until after 6 p.m. I ask if my wife can pick the game up for me, and she agrees. I told her that all she needs is my phone number. So she arrives to the store, and they say they need a receipt or my power-up rewards card. And needless to say, she leaves empty-handed. I tell her that's odd because every time I've ever gone to pick up a game, all they ask for is my phone number. However, I am glad that they tried to prevent somebody from just walking off with my copy. So I'm cool with that, but at the same time, it's kind of odd that they declined giving it to her when all they've asked for is my phone number in the past. So after work, I show up, I talk to the lady behind the counter. All she asks for is my phone number, nothing else, and then handed me my copy and wished me a good night. I thought that was weird. But anyway, after all that, I get home, I grab my copy of Rise of the Tomb Raider from my mailbox, and I head inside. I fire up Fallout 4, and then I walk to the kitchen to grab a snack, a Frosty glass, and a bottle of Yingling to fill said Frosty glass. I come back right as the update finishes installing, and I sit down for the loading screen. Great, I say to myself sarcastically, not wanting to sit through a loading countdown. I'm about to go occupy myself when all of a sudden a video starts playing describing the special system in the game using hilarious little video clips. The cartoon style paired with a 50s era narrator was gold. I loved it. I was able to watch 5 of them before the game finished loading, and time flew by as I was thoroughly entertained. But now came the hardest part of the game, the character creation screen. Though I want to mention that the start screen itself was actually pretty cool. Just a little bit of a slow panning through this little area, but it had really good music playing behind it. I thought it was done well, and I loved it. Anyway, the character creation experience was cute. The husband and wife looking into the mirror and commenting on all the changes. I went back and forth on which sex to be. So I hopped online, and I found videos of both and settled for the female because I preferred her voice actor. Both seemed pretty good, but I enjoyed her more, so female it is. Although I'll probably go back and make a dude at some point as well. The game wasted no time tossing me into the action. After a few minutes wandering around the house, the bomb is dropped. Literally. You have to run to the vault that, as luck would have it, you just got accepted into. As you ride the elevator down into the nuclear the nuclear blast erupts, and that's that. You're lowered into the vault where you step into a chamber and stuff happens that I will not spoil, and shortly after you find yourself stepping back out of the vault and into the wasteland. Now the wasteland reveal is probably the weakest of the series in my opinion. I think Fallout 3 nailed it, and New Vegas also did a pretty good job of it. Fallout 4 just does not have the same impact. Additionally, the game throws you into a heavy action scenario fairly early on. You kind of lose that sense of exploration of your new environment, at least I did, for the first little bit of the game. In fact, my first hour of the game was so underwhelming that I was torn between pushing forward or popping in Tomb Raider in the old Xbox to play that instead. But at that point, my wife had just come home and brought me Wendy's, so I decided dinner and catching up on the new Supergirl and Flash was also a good idea, so I was done for the night. Fast forward to the next morning where I had to be at my day job by 11. However, I woke up at 7, I showered, and I headed downstairs to fire up some Fallout 4. The PlayStation 4 beeped to life, and I sat back. I'm at a point in the game where I have 3 quests to choose from. I'll leave it on the one already selected, and I head out. I started at a small settlement camp where I'm trying to recruit them for the Minutemen group I stumbled upon, and I'm now helping. This is where the game got its legs for me. Now that the introduction to the game and some of its new mechanics are out of the way, Fallout 4 can finally be Fallout. The exploration and gameplay is all 100% Fallout. I make my way through the woods and come up to what looks like a ruined train station where an army of ghouls ambush me. I frantically fight them off with a combination of VATS and normal FPS style shooting. The shooting controls are good enough to use by themselves the entire game, I feel, but I do love the VAT system, and I continue to use that for most of the time. I should mention that I feel the game looks amazing. Now, this series is not known for its graphics, and this is certainly not the best looking game on current-gen systems, but it's very sharp, the lighting effects are excellent, it looks like a remastered Fallout 3, and that's in a very, very good way. The art style makes the game, running on new hardware, look very, very good. I'm about 3 hours in at this point, and it took a lot not to call in today and keep going. After the first hour of the game, it finally sunk its hooks into me. I'm loving the game, every second of it. I have the next 2 days off and plan to spend them in a post-nuclear Boston. Hopefully I can marathon the main story, start Tomb Raider so I can give that the day one treatment, and then just fire up Fallout 4 and side quest the hell out of it.